Okay, we are back in Senate institutions. It's Tuesday, February 24th, and we are now going to be speaking with folks from Department of Fish and Wildlife and looking at Section 9 of the Capitol bill. And we'll let's actually go around the room. So the folks on the committee first, and then everybody in the room, and then we will proceed. So Wendy Harrison, I'm in the Wyndham district. I represent the Wyndham district.
Joe Major, Windsor District.
Professional ice fisherman. Sir Russ Eggles, Essex District. Sean Benson, Orange District.
Great. You want to start with you, Hala?
Sure. I'm Eric Palmer, Director of Fisheries with Vermont Fish and Wildlife.
Nice to see you again.
Dylan Stickles, I'm the Fish Culture Operations Manager for the state of Vermont.
Great.
Mike Petrowski, manage the Access Area Program.
Thank you.
Kevin Kelsey, I used to do Fish and Wildlife, but I'm just listening.
All right, but you still care?
Yeah.
Mike Covey, Executive Director of Vermont Traditions Coalition.
Great, thank you. Okay.
How cool is that? You got alumni coming to
Yeah, I've been in our Grand Isle Fish Hatchery for
28 years.
Good for you.
and the walleye program, which is
Oh.
As an aside, I got all the permits for that project with Ed Weed and Jim Richardson.
Sure, I know Jim very well and steelhead fish with him often in the past.
Okay, so
Great. Well, my name is Andrea Shortsleeve and I am the Chief of Operations for the Department of Fish and Wildlife. And so we sent in a couple documents ahead of this testimony yesterday just to show where our capital budget, where all of the money is obligated from 25 and 26, and then also our planned projects for 27. And so I'm happy to walk through the projects, or I can just answer questions that you may have.
yeah, that would be helpful. So there's two documents. Are
Yeah.
does one replace the other, or they're?
No, the one is one that says with the logo on it, Vermont Fish and Wildlife Capital Budget Section 9. So those are the projects that we have obligated and contracted from FY 25 and 26. And then the second page is just our planned projects, our proposed projects for 27.
Okay, let's go through both.
Okay. Great. So I'll start with the 25-26 document. We have a number of projects that are going to be happening at our Green Mountain Conservation Camps. So that's in Kehoe and then Buckley. And those are all going to be completed by the time the camp season starts, with the exception of just fixing some bathroom moisture mitigation in the Buckley.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's
But can we get those up on the?
Yes.
Unless you want to share your screen, whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah, I didn't bring
Okay.
my, well, do you want to?
We could, I think Ken will have them right up.
Okay. Let's put the pressure on that.
This is the one with the first one, the one with the logo on it. And
Yeah. Great. Thanks everybody for your patience.
Perfect. So, yeah, that first section of projects are all at our conservation camps. A lot of it's just general maintenance. And the big thing to know would be the chlorination system that's going to need to go in down the Kehoe camp outside of Castleton.
Is that something new?
It is something new. It's, we're just experiencing, cauliflower outbreaks. Cauliflower, yep. In the water system. And, so we needed to upgrade the system in order to make the drinking water, safe for the campers.
Okay.
Then, moving down, we'll just have a couple projects at our residences and offices, associated with our fish culture stations. And those are all just kind of regular maintenance, upkeep, and the timing is based on the transition of tenants in and out of the buildings.
And those are people you're talking about.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
yep, not the fish. And then the next section, I'll hand over to Dylan. It's our the section that addresses the capital projects at our fish culture stations.
Sure.
Through those.
I got a list here, just like we see on the screen, our hatchery electrical work and our recirculation equipment at our Ball Hill facility is going to do some upgrades there to maintain for both walleye and other production systems there on site. Different buildings we have on site to make sure the power is where it needs to be. We also have some driveway and facility asphalt repairs, some minor repairs on site for the roads coming into the facility and all. Head box drain is listed for our Bennington facility. It's one of our larger projects we have on our list. It's about $730,000 what we estimated on that. It's actually to do some work on some of our ponds down there and maintain the side edges and rebuild the ponds, if you will. It's going to involve a fair amount of concrete. This project, I'll highlight this one. We actually put it out to bid several times. Just 2 years ago, we had it out to bid and it was listed for what we assumed the cost would be. But of course, with ARPA funds and COVID costs and everything else, it changed significantly. The initial bid we got back was $1.2 million to the project. So we declined that bid, held out for a year, worked on some numbers with our staffing team, put it back out for bid again, and it just came in under 660,000 or so. So we actually had a significant change in that by waiting a year till the numbers have come back into check, if you will. So that's been beneficial. We will also be hiring an individual clerk of the works on that project. It's large enough to want to make sure we have that project done complete and right. So we're going to have staff there to take care of that for us as well. So that's one of the bigger ones we have. The Bennington facility is also looking to epoxy coat some of their fish raceways. Over the years, they start to get pitted and all from concrete, and also be a new coating on those tanks to make sure things stay clean. Biosecurity, as we call for our facilities, to make sure the fish are in their best condition going out the door. So we have that going on. Let's see here. Our roof there on one of our filter buildings needs to be replaced, so we're going to take care of that. We got some larger trees there on site that we want to take care of, with some time to be taking them down. You know, the various critters that come through and eat our trees these days. We want to make sure we take care of that. A new well being put in place there as well to improve for water needs there, along with some of our MPDS stuff that may be coming down the line. We're trying to prepare for these kinds of discussions and points. Pump house electrical work at our Ed Weed facility. Our pole barn there at our Ed Weed facility. We've rebuilt the facility on site there, Quonset hut, if you will, to allow us to quarantine fish coming in from other spots. We want to make sure we're as safe as we can be there for biosecurity needs as well. So the staff there have been working almost day and night, it seems like, for the last 8 months to get that done. We're up against a critical window coming up that Kevin can surely go into more detail on, but our walleye are about to hit here soon. So, and our staff want to make sure we're ready to go for that in about less than a month or so for sure. So that's been a big project for our staff there on site. Wastewater treatment plant repair. Again, I said our Ed Weed facility, we have an individual on site there who can speak for quite some time about who does our engineering stuff on site. He can save the state hundreds of thousands of dollars by working on the projects we have there on site. This wastewater treatment repair is one of those. It's been significant. So your flooring replacement at the Ed Weed facility. We had some work done on our visitor center area there at Weed as well for that. We did a carriage barn move and repair of a foundation at our Roxbury facility, our oldest fish hatchery in the state. And that was actually moved off its foundation. It was repaired and went through our state historic preservation requirements and all. And that's been put back in place and put back together at this point. We're going to do some work on a well line there and improve our water supply with another well on site there too. I'm going to come back to the feasibility study in a second, but we're going to have our well house have some repair at Salisbury. Our lighthouse at Salisbury, where we have our brood stock in-house, the fish that we're going to spawn, if you will, to make new fish, the fingerlings and baby fish come out the door. We have a light control building there and needs some repairs as well for that. So we've got some lights being replaced there and a new alarm system as well. We also had a list line up for some heavy equipment. We're in need of a trailer and a UTV at one of our properties. So we're processing, trying to make sure we get those in place as well for our needs on site. The one I skipped to come back to is our feasibility study at Salisbury, which you guys are well aware. we had our report come through last December talking about our facility needs there, our hatcheries and all. And the concerns about Salisbury being able to get a permit, and we are working directly with DEC these days, a lot more closely to make that come together. So we are hopeful that permit will come back and we'll get a permit, and our current permit expires at the end of December 2027. So we're working with them currently as we speak to make sure we have a permit in place for 2028. So we are looking to make sure Salisbury stays going in that process. We've also hired an outside independent consultant, a company called McMillan out of Idaho, who's coming to do a fish culture study with us, or what we're calling our fish culture modernization plan, to review all of our facilities and make sure we're doing the best we can with our projects on site and all of our efficiencies that we put into place at those facilities as well. So that's currently in place as we speak. The study's going, meet with them bi-weekly at this point. And we should have, our intention is to have the final report from our consultant by the end of June of 2026 this year. So we can have that to provide and share with you all as well. So
That's great. So are you confident? It sounds like you're confident that you'll get the permit?
very,
I mean, obviously, you
from
don't.
my end,
Yeah.
I've done the wood around the room here.
Yeah.
Between the staff and, Andrea and Eric, our director, and all the other staff that are being involved in this, I feel very confident we should be in place to have them.
That's great, because that was
Seems like
the
some of the
issue.
complications have subsided as far as what the anxiety was before, or getting that permit.
Yeah, there was some discussion about some aquatic biota as well, some bugs, if you will, in the creek. And as it is, Kevin here has done a significant amount of work helping us with that as well. But yes, we've gone through some of those processes to make sure we've had those conversations with DEC and try to move that forward, if you will. So we get through that. Yes.
That's great.
So I've
And
always-
That's your brood stock place still, right?
Salisbury,
Right.
yes.
And you're happy with that? You were
Yes.
happy with that. You still happy with that?
Yes, that facility has the best water of all our facilities out there for groundwater. We definitely want to keep Salisbury rolling around for us for a long time down the line.
Yeah, and they're also, you probably know this already, but there's a special thing about the fish too, how like uncontaminated as fish they are. I know I'm not using the right word.
Sure. Biosecurity is a huge part for our processes to make sure they're as clean as they can be, the
Yeah.
best fish coming out the door. So we do some disinfection requirements as we spawn it all as well, to make sure we provide the best fish for our constituents across the state. So, yes.
Yeah, and Salisbury is entirely well water.
Right.
So it's
Okay, that's
very good
right.
water source.
The water
Yeah.
doesn't come from other places and
Yeah,
contaminate.
because with the root stock, they produce the eggs that go to all the other hatcheries, they go everywhere in the state. And so we want to make
Yeah,
extra sure that those fish have a clean bill of health. So having that well water is a huge asset to the Salisbury facility.
and the well's in good shape.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's a different permit than the other permit, right?
So
Or the well might not even need a permit.
no, we don't have a pumping permit of any sort
Okay.
for using groundwater. We need to rehabilitate the wells every couple of years. There is more development in the watershed, so we're seeing
Oh,
some influences on groundwater, but it's still really high quality water, good temperature, parasite, pathogen free. So
wonderful.
it's good.
Just be your discharge permit, right?
Yeah.
Right, the discharge permit was the issue. And again, working with our sister department, DEC, we seem to have a good path forward for moving the point at which the aquatic biota are assessed. And a number of others say they've really been working well with us to come up with solutions. And yeah, I think we've got a great path forward. We're getting a new NPDES, National Pollution
Yeah.
Discharge Elimination System permit. That's the key permit that we need to keep Salisbury and all of our facilities open.
Yes.
And we're doing well with that. I mean, we're producing and we're putting out good product, obviously. I hear great things about it, but, we're on a good path. I mean, we're looking to expand or at least keep up what we've been asked to do in the past. It's all going well.
Yes. And, one of the things we were looking at was the phosphorus concerns, so pushing this around. Our facility there, where we're allowed within the requirements that we, Lake Champlain requirements and all as well for water quality needs. 152 pounds a year, if you will, for phosphorus in our discharge from it, we're down about 100 pounds. So, when we look at that as we put into comparison, we've seen this, that's about the equivalent of 3 cow farms, we call it. So our facilities at 3 cow farm out there for our facility, for what we put out for discharge issues. It's a big deal. So,
Great. Too bad you probably can't sell those pounds.
yeah, happy to.
Yeah.
You get, it goes off to another farmer's farm.
Right, well, I mean,
Yeah.
they get allocated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Great. We can move down to our WMA improvement section. And so we, with our capital request, we have a large, just kind of pot of money for our WMA infrastructure. And we sold that out statewide. And we use all of that money to leverage federal funds. So everything's matched with Pittman Robinson dollars, become threefold.
Let me just start with just
Sure.
So it's water management area, right?
Wildlife management.
Wildlife
Yeah.
management.
Yeah, the other side of our.
Makes more sense. Okay.
Yep. And so this year we just finished some major road work and we completed a workshop down at the Dead Creek Wildlife Management Area in Addison. And that was a very large project and happy to have that completed. Looks great. And then the next year we'll be focusing on road work in the West Mountain WMA and focusing a lot on dam infrastructure, dam maintenance, with our new dam safety rules. The next item is the contract with Weyerhaeuser. This is an agency wide contract, and so this just reflects our fish and wildlife portion, and that's for just annual road upkeep that we do every year, we're obligated to do every year.
For that property.
Yeah, and it's a large kind of conglomeration of properties throughout the Northeast Kingdom. It's not all just one contiguous property. And just I wanted to flag that the contract's being renegotiated in the next year, and so there's going to be new terms, and I believe we're going to have to be asking for more from the capital bill, just to reflect the increase in cost for next year. So
Are those increases here or?
no, this is all projects that we've already obligated, yeah, but
Okay.
for the next time around,
Okay.
it'll be probably upwards of 100,000. So we're replacing 3 roofs at the Sandbar Wildlife Management Area. We have an office and storage areas there that need to get replaced, and we're up against the time crunch. We're gonna have them done, but we just need to make sure we do them before the bats come back out of hibernation. So that'll be done this spring. The Sladek Wildlife Management Area, we had a FEMA match that we needed to pay. And the project's done, we're just waiting on invoices from FEMA, and so that'll be zeroed out. And then the final item in this section is statewide dam repairs and maintenance, and the majority of this will be earmarked for Fairfield Swamp Wildlife Management Area. There's a dam there that's currently failing, and so we need to invest a little money in there to maintain it while we are using engineers to redesign an alternative of design. And so engineers are expensive, and just making sure that we maintain that dam while we come up with a new design. And then finally on the list are 2 boats that we asked for last year. One is an fishing vessel. And currently right now our fisheries biologist, one of our biologists, Sean Good, is actively working with BGS to get 3 bids and kind of put together the package of the boat that he wants.
What is an electric fishing vessel?
I'll let Eric explain it. You can do it a little more technically than I should.
Sure. So first off, electric fishing is a technique of capturing fish alive and then being able to release them by putting an electric current through the water.
Oh,
And for a reason no one completely understands, if you put a current in the water that's a DC current, it's got a positive pole and a negative pole, and the fish get stung, they actually swim towards the positive. So you electrify the water, 500 volts, low amperage. Fish swim towards the anode, and as they get closer, they get stunned, and you're able to net them up.
Actually,
And
walked in
once,
front of my house on Lake Memphremagog last year,
yeah,
and it was kind of cool.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then once they're out of the field, they revive. And you can put them in a live well, measure them, weigh them, get, scale samples off them to determine age, those sort of things. And then release them alive and they swim away. And so we do it in streams by using backpack shockers and little wands. And we do it in lakes with these big boats with a big generator mounted in them. And the anodes are hanging off the front of the boat, and that
Had a bright light on it. as
Yeah,
well.
bright lights. A lot of the fish, it's easier to catch them at night because they're more in the shallows. And we can see into the water better. But it's just a technique for going out and sampling fish.
Interesting.
And it works really well.
Can anybody buy one of those, or do you have to have a license? That just seems
It's
Kinda-
illegal means of take,
okay. it
or
seems like it wouldn't.
and they're
be-
expensive. It's a 100,000
Yeah,
for one boat, but they last. They last 30 years.
so you have one now?
We've got 3 of them.
Okay,
The oldest one is becoming unreliable, and frankly, it's cost prohibitive to try and bring that one back up to standards. So we're looking to replace one.
so you're gonna replace one with this, and that'll be your 3 still.
Yeah, keep it at 3, and there's smaller models that are good for smaller ponds and large rivers. So we likely will be coming back in the next round with another request for electric fishing boats.
Interesting. Do you do any work in the Connecticut River?
Yeah, Connecticut's, it's shared with New Hampshire. They own almost the entire
Right,
river up to
That's
the
what
low
I'm
water
wondering.
mark on the Vermont side. We work cooperatively with them, and there's some setbacks that are considered Vermont waters. And yeah, we electrofish the Connecticut River and do a lot of other cooperative work with the natural fishing game.
Hmm.
And our wardens work, and New Hampshire has been very generous in allowing reciprocal fishing licenses for Vermont residents to fish the Connecticut River with a Vermont license.
okay,
Doesn't apply to non-residents, but resident Vermonters can fish the entire Connecticut River with a Vermont fishing.
that's good to know.
Yeah, New Hampshire has been a great partner.
And do we let New Hampshire, I mean, I know they own the river, but
Yeah, it's
Do we
reciprocal on
register
the Vermont side up to the first roadway crossings.
yeah. All right. Thanks.
And just quickly, the last item on the list is a patrol boat for our game wardens. So this is 50% of the cost. The other 50% is coming from the Coast Guard from the recreational boating safety grant. And so that's been secured, and Major Reed is just putting together. She did a lot of work up front to get an accurate bid, and so she's just putting the final touches on that, and should be ordered shortly.
Great. And is that a replacement boat?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe it is. Yeah, but I would double check to make sure.
Pretty sure that
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
criminal ID indicated.
yeah.
All right.
So that's our 25 to 26 capital bill requests, and just where all the projects are. Any questions on those? Great. Okay. Well, we can move on to the other document. And these are our proposed proposed projects for 27. And the majority again are within the fish culture program. So Dylan, if you want to run through them, that'd be helpful.
Yep, so up on the screen, great. So we have our Star facility run there. I noticed I was gonna keep them all together, but unfortunately they're all over the place, so I'll jump back and forth. Our Ed Weed facility, it's 30 years plus old at this point. It's built in 91, so needs some resurfacing going on there. And these are actually, it's a little interesting, it's in between our indoor raceways and our building. So we have asphalt in between there, between the raceways that we need to review. So it's a very unique and tricky process there. We have to have somebody in there to help us out with that. So that's coming up in a few years. Our Rock Creek facility, we're looking at our new tanks there that we have in our pavilions, trying to epoxy both the concrete floors and the size of the tanks. That's the most recent facility was built back 2021 timeframe. So we're gonna make sure we maintain and keep the integrity of that building and the tanks going in good condition moving forward. As well as, see our Bald Hill, we have some roof repairs, we have some smaller size buildings, different locations need to do that, as well as some painting on those as well. Let's see here. Our lead facility, again, we've got our pump house, needs a roof repaired or replaced on that, depending what they find on that process. Our Bald Hill facility, we're noticing there, it talks about plumbing lines in from the Beanbrook to the ponds. With our MPDS conversations at this point, Bald Hill is one of our facilities that does not have an MPDS permit at this point. We anticipate more discussion with DEC on that, and more likely they'll probably be looking to have us have a permit there. So we're going to try some different options there to try to improve our water quality as we go, as that's part of what that project is. Our lead facility, again, after 30 years, the visitor center and staff, bathrooms there, it looks like needs some repairs and improvements. That project, actually, we had asked for more in that line, but you'll notice in the next line there, it says walleye program needs. This is part of that conversation that's going on back with all of us with the Lake Champlain Walleye Association. And there was $25,000 that was split out to them in the past that would come out. It's going to be within our capital request going forward. So that's where that's.
And that was what we decided last year,
Yeah,
or maybe the year
so,
before.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what that is. We made sure we make that actually a line item and show that in there for that 25,000 to show we are actively working on our walleye system, make sure we have the best process going forward there. See our Rock Creek facility, looking at reusing some of the water between some of the outside tanks and improve water quality there for some of the needs. Our facilities are involved in need of storage and removal of chemicals we have on site. Some of the things are old and outdated and need to be taken off site. And unfortunately, that costs a decent amount these days for hazmat requirements and everything else that goes with that. So we're looking to improve our facility needs there with that. And automated door, for one of our doors on our lead facility, again, an age of just repairing that. Repairs to a shop chimney in our Bennington facility and estimates with that. Again, our Roxbury facility has another extend the lower reuse line into the effluent building, they're calling it. And basically what they're saying is that when they open up this line, it's not used all the time. There's some buildup in that. We'd like to make sure we do the best to clean that water coming into our process before it comes back into our system. So it'll be an extension of that line. To do so requires an excavation underneath a little bit to make that happen. The next line down is one that's pretty important. We have our a vessel to make triploid fish eggs. And so we are able to make fish sterile when they go out the door for various needs for our management program. Although it does require a specialized vessel that can withstand high pressures of up over 10,000 pounds per square inch. So it's a very specific technique that's used by our staff and use a vessel that can handle that requirement. So we are looking at an updated or version of the system we have on site there.
In this case, vessel doesn't mean like a boat.
Right, no,
It means a
small.
Yeah, like a tank.
Pressure
I was
tank.
imagining
Yeah,
like this.
A pressure chamber.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So it'll be a cylinder within a cylinder. And that
Yeah.
basically we put all the baby fish eggs or then we spawn out for this process. We're trying to make triploid and we put them in this chamber and then pressurize that chamber, which then creates the triploid
Yeah.
process.
very,
Wow.
very specific time as the embryo is developing. It
That's wild.
changes the genetics, so makes them triploid instead of diploid.
So are they
They look the same, they grow the
Everything's
same,
same. Yeah.
they just
but
are
they
not
don't
fertile?
reproduce.
Wow.
And yeah,
That's
it's it's to protect the wild fish in Vermont.
Right,
So that
I
when it's
remember
got
that.
hatchery
Yeah.
fish, they won't interbreed.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important to our needs there. So we'll make sure we have that as well. Let's see if I have more there. Again, epoxying some of our starter troughs at our Bennington facility. So in the last project, we did some work to improve the concrete on some of the tanks. Now we have some other tanks we have to work on. So a couple of projects we may get all done at the same time between the 2-year needs we have there. Looking to at our Roxbury facility, we found that some of the drain lines on our upper building, we have 2 different buildings there with tanks and all. And the upper buildings don't have as large a drain. Unfortunately, it was not spec'd in as large as we've realized now that we need. So we're going to go back and try to improve that to improve fish quality and health on those tanks and water quality as well. So that's what that project will be there for Roxbury. And then we have some repairs needed for ADA requirements and needs there, as well as facility doors to improve that as well. And then our facilities across the board, like again, we've been working to get a trailer and a UTV, if you will, for our property. Some of them have some short distance needs where it'd be better to save on gasoline and other things there, or long trips, used to pickup truck and smaller UTV would work better on site for those needs as well. So and I think that's, the last one is replacing galvanized bolts, so that over time it started to rust out, so we need to repair our building there on site as well. That's the best for them.
Great, thanks, Dylan. So the next item, I don't know, Mike, if you want to say anything about updating access areas for ADA compliance?
Sure. So I think 2 or 3 years ago, we wrote a plan to basically create a roadmap of taking our 205 access areas and creating accessible features, parking, accessible routes to docks or fishing platforms. And so our goal is to have 50% of our access areas be ADA compliant. I think by 2028 or 29. So we utilize these funds to replace or upgrade docks, put in transition plates, maybe do some small paved parking lots or parking spaces, I should say. So we spread this money around the state just to upgrade and replace kind of deteriorating infrastructure. A good example is we've got a beautiful fishing platform down in Cavendish on the Nat Brook WMA. And it's an old, probably 30-year-old paved walkway that gets you down to fishing platform. And it's deteriorating. And so we actually went out there last summer and met with a woman who is out there almost on a daily basis. She's wheelchair bound. And we just had a great conversation about how we can improve that site and just repaving and creating better parking and that sort of thing. So we have several sites identified, and then occasionally they have interactions like this. We will take that opportunity to upgrade a facility to ensure that it's accessible and meets the needs of our anglers and waders.
I have a couple of questions on it. So how many places do you have?
We have 205 fishing access areas. That could be anything from small kind of roadside pull off where it's almost just kind of a road shoulder parking to our Malletts Bay access in Colchester, which you can fit 150 to 175 vehicles of trailers.
Yeah, Malletts Bay is pretty
So
good.
it's huge.
Yeah.
That's not really the norm.
Yeah.
We probably average 10 to 15 parking spaces on average at our access areas. A lot of them are a lot smaller.
Yeah, I've been just really surprised at the variety between the spaces. I moved here from Florida 11 years ago. Went to Windham County. I went to the Connecticut River sites, and I thought, oh, I guess we just don't have good sites in Vermont. It was just what I assumed. We actually do have a lot of boating in Vermont. I'm on the water more here than I was in Florida. But then I went to Harriman Reservoir, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we need. I mean, that is a beautiful facility. It has all kinds of parking. It has the dock that goes out, and it's just much a much higher level of service.
So that's not ours.
Okay.
Yeah, Harriman and Somerset Reservoir, those are owned and operated by utility companies.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to do with those. On your way home, if you get off exit 5 in Springfield,
Yeah.
where you just about cross over the Connecticut into New Hampshire, our Malletts Bay, our Hoyt's Landing access area. It's our biggest access in the southern half of the state.
Okay.
It's right off the interstate, probably a quarter mile. We've got a fishing platform. We've got 2 ramps, the dock. It's really accessible for shore fishing and boating. And that's a really popular site.
All
We
right.
do have a lot of others along the Connecticut. Some are a lot smaller. Most are a lot smaller than that.
And pretty rad, honestly. Like,
Yeah, some of them-
like the asphalt just ends, and then there's a big drop, and it doesn't feel safe.
I would suspect those are not ours.
Oh, well, the one for sure is in Brattleboro. It has your sign on it.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't want to get into detail, I'm glad that we have something better than what I've seen. So
Yeah.
I will check that out.
Yeah, we've done some new improvements in the Putney area. There's 2, Putney and Dummerston Landing are 2 access areas that are kind of, you get to one and then you kind of go past a cornfield to another, and they're both
Yeah.
new ramps that are less than, I think, 5 years old, both of them.
Okay.
So there are some good spots. Yeah, but I'm not
Okay,
naive to think that every one of our spots is ideal and perfect and
no,
Just to put a
Yeah.
plug in though, Vermont is in a really good place in that the department went out in the 1950s and 60s and bought access sites at just about every public water body in the state.
okay,
So there's only a few lakes in Vermont where the access is not owned by Fish and Wildlife Department. Or, sometimes there's private access here as well on large water bodies. But really, it's just like Little Averill, Caspian Lake. There's only a couple water bodies where we have bought property, don't have that guaranteed public access to public water. So the department really got out ahead. Most states don't have that. Most
Okay.
states,
So I tell people that all the time in the real estate and also, tell you what,
Yeah.
we have access.
right, most states you're going over private property, you're paying a fee, or you just can't get on the lake because it's entirely locked up in private ownership. So
Right.
Vermont is in a great position with our access area program. And while there's places where we'd like to improve, buying lakefront property,
yeah.
it's not only super expensive, it's really hard to fund.
Right,
The last large access area we built on Lake Champlain, cost us over $1 million just to acquire the property.
yeah,
So yeah, we'd like to have nicer access areas in some places, but what we've got is really pretty good.
well, that is really good to know, and I, don't mean to be negative, but I just wanted to let you know what I had seen, so,
we always want to know because,
Yeah.
we go out and we inspect our sites every spring and every fall. And there are times when, it's more of an windshield kind of get out, look around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm always welcome to hear from boaters and anglers because they're the ones that know these sites best.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are in the water and are experiencing things that you might not be able to see easily unless you're physically in the water.
Yeah, especially if you feel like a place has something that's unsafe, like sometimes you get
Oh,
what we call a
definitely.
prop wash hole.
Yeah.
Where people are using their boat motor to push their boat back up on the trailer and it digs out a hole right at the end of
Yeah.
the ramp. And we go out, we get those filled in. Those can be a hazard for boaters who back up a little too far and their trailer
Right,
wheels drop in there. So if you ever feel that there's something unsafe at a site, please call us up.
All right,
and
will do.
get right on.
Thank you.
And just to put a final touch on the ADA accessibility, we got a really nice email last year from a family in New Hampshire that had a paraplegic daughter, and they would come to Vermont to some of our sites because it's the only place within a reasonable distance that they could get their daughter on a boat. And so just happy to be providing that kind of access. to
That's
folks.
great.
And then the last four items on the list, I've spoken a little bit about the chlorination system at Kehoe. So in the previous bill, that was for the design for that chlorination system, and then this would be for installing it. And then for the stuff on with the wildlife division would be just, again, the routine infrastructure maintenance on our wildlife management areas. So continuing the road work, and then on the Weyerhaeuser agreement, and then working again statewide to complete our assessments for the dam safety rules came into effect.
Right. Yes.
One question, I know it's not your facility and I haven't been there in a number of years, but the federal hatchery. Last time I was there, it was underutilized. And I didn't know what's going on there, whether there's any opportunity to use some of that facility for your purposes and where that sits.
I'll defer.
Yeah, well, yeah, so the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service actually owns two federal fish hatcheries, what they call national fish hatcheries in Vermont. Yeah, one in Bethel, called the White River facility, and then there's one called the Eisenhower facility that's over in kind of Chittenden, I believe. It's we used to call it the Pittsford facility, but it's not actually in Pittsburgh, over by Rutland. And yeah, the White River facility, it was constructed for the Connecticut River Salmon Restoration Program. Senator Leahy and his, largesse kind of said, here's the money you need to build this. And when the program ended from, lack of successful returns of adult salmon, the service planned to repurpose that facility. It was concurrent with Tropical Storm Irene coming and flooding the facility, so they had to rebuild it, and they found a few things that they're doing there. They're doing some salmon research for Lake Champlain, trying to raise a strain of salmon that are able to eat alewives, which are an invasive species that's now in the lake. And if salmon eat too many alewives, they not to get too complicated, alewives have an enzyme that breaks down thiamine, vitamin B1. And if the salmon eat enough alewives, they end up with a thiamine deficiency and they can't reproduce. They still spawn, but the eggs don't. They die. They hatch out and they just lay on the bottom and die. So they've been doing research with a thiamine-resistant strain of salmon. They were raising lake trout for stocking the Great Lakes. But yeah, it's a large facility. It's a really expensive facility. Again, pump driven. It's costs a lot of money. At one point, they offered it to us, and we said no because of how expensive it is to run, and because they offered it to us on like a 5-year lease program. And we're like, we can't build a program around. Maybe you'll get.
I was just curious. I knew that it wasn't being fully utilized anymore.
Right. They're still looking for opportunities to use that, and they're also considering shutting it down. So I think it's an ongoing discussion. But yeah, its original purpose was for the salmon restoration program.
The federal hatchery program overall is looking at a review as well for what they have for their facilities. Of course, and everything else going on with the federal government right now, and reduction in costs and everything else. That's definitely a discussion one here to mention. So
yeah. They've been great partners. The Eisenhower facility raises some lake trout for us to stock in some of our smaller inland waters. They're great. They've been really good to work with.
If there's ever an opportunity to purchase some federal something that they're getting rid of, do you have that ability?
If they would give us the Eisenhower facility, the small one over on Furnace Brook, we might be interested. The White River, it's too big, it's too expensive, it doesn't meet
Sounds like federal government.
Yeah. So, they've been good partners. They're holding the same line of lake trout broodstock, the fish that we get eggs from that we used to have at Salisbury. And so we've been able to eliminate that line at Salisbury because we can get the eggs from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which helps us meet discharge permits. There's lots of ways that we work closely with them, but we don't want that facility.
Okay.
It's
all right. I just want you to be ready if there is an opportunity. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We think about this kind of stuff all the time.
Okay.
They come to our fish culture meetings, the federal employees. We're in close communications with them.
Can I ask a question about last year's appropriations for the walleye? Do you guys know if that's been expended yet?
we were actually having a conversation with Chad Lambert, the Lake Champlain Walleye Association individual, their president. There's been a discussion back and forth about the invoice.
Yeah, okay.
So we're at the point I signed it today. So
Okay,
literally, so
thank
he and I are talking back and forth, and it's just
Appreciate that.
yeah, internal figuring out where to get it to and all. But there'll be equipment hopefully showing up at our Ed Weed facility and our Ball Hill facility, which is where that funds it sort of end up back at. So we all work
Right.
together in tandem with that. So, but yes, it's in the process.
I thank you for that program. I thank you guys for all what you do. I'm a big fish and wildlife advocate. You know, up in the Northeast Kingdom, we see a lot of different people coming up into that area, fishing for walleye that we've never seen before. So it makes a difference. It really does. I think that's the credit that you guys don't get is, and I don't know that it really is ever really properly associated for what you folks bring into the state as far as for other travelers and, you know, coming here to fish our fisheries and on our game, and, we see him all the time, so I do appreciate what you do.
Hi. Okay. Do we have anything else? Are we good?
No, that's all. Yeah.
All right, and so we'll have you back when we get the capital bill.
Okay,
This is very helpful to
Great.
start. Appreciate it.
look forward to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay, and we will take, we will go off.